Hi, and welcome back to the Cheeky Crypto podcast. My name's Chris, and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another podcast. And we're joined by Dennis and Wilson from 𝗕𝗪𝗪 to talk about their new project and dig into everything that they've got going on. Fantastic and interesting project, to say the least. So if you enjoy this sort of content, mash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tap in that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. Right, let's get down to the desktop. Thanks for joining us today, Dennis and Wilson. Great to have you on the channel. I think probably best to kick off for some of the community that don't know about the project and yourselves, to sort of get a bit of a background about yourselves, how you got into crypto and how you ended up where you are now. I think that would be a great way to kick off the podcast. So Dennis, we just start with yourself.
Yeah, sure. So thanks for having us. My name is Dennis. I'm based in the UK, London. I'm a software engineer by trade, so I've been a software engineer for over 10 years now. I started within the Web2 world, of course. So I started from a startup company and then sort of moved on to mid-size and then large corporates like Thomson Reuters, etc. And then in Thomson Reuters, I came across blockchain and Ethereum. There was an internal project, a private sort of quorum project that was using Ethereum as the base layer. And since basically touching that code base, I immediately wanted to get into Web3 even more. So I quit my job there. I started up a venture in 2018 called 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗕, which was more of a bounty hunting platform, paying people for works such as tweets and YouTube videos, etc., for projects that needed marketing. I exited that position, and then I started working on a couple of other ventures, and then eventually my latest venture is 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, which I've been here with my co-founders Wilson and Simon for the last 18, 19 months now. So yeah, that's me briefly.
Super. And Wilson?
Yeah, so my name is Wilson. I'm the CEO of 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. I come from the traditional finance world, so I have a finance background. So I've worked at a couple of different companies, such as like Merrill Lynch, and have that investment knowledge, and really just my time there led me to learning more about the crypto industry, and it was definitely fascinating to learn more about it. And really that transition just made so much sense to kind of seeing all of the downsides of the traditional finance world. And it just led me to, learning more, and eventually kind of changing my roles and getting more invested into crypto, and eventually just quitting my job there and starting my company here with Dennis.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's good to hear. So, we'll break it down into 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 here. And I don't know which one of you guys would like to hit this off first, or maybe both of you. Could you break 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 down to us, to the listeners, to the community, kind of tell us, what is 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪?
Yeah, so I'll get started and Wilson will carry on from where I left off, I guess. So 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 is trying to build a DeFi borrow and lending platform that sort of intersects with the NFT and metaverse world. So we allow, we are a DeFi platform. We allow lending and borrowing based on a dynamic interest rate model. But what sets us apart is that we support exotic collaterals. Exotic in the sense is that we support NFTs, we support metaverse lands, we support LP tokens, synthetics as a collateral form, which a lot of our competitors are able to do so. And what sets us really apart is the fact that we are not P2P lending. So we can value your NFT based on AI and give you a valuation. And if you like the valuation, then you could borrow up to 80% of the value of the NFT itself. And then everything is sort of dynamic from there on. So the interest rate is dynamic based on utilization rate of the underlying pools. There is no fixed term repayment, so you repay whenever you wish to. So that, in a nutshell, is 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. We are not sort of, although we have close ties and links with IOG and Cardano because they are seed investors in 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 itself, we're not sort of chain dependent. So we're not saying we're sort of going for Cardano or Ethereum, etc. We actually want to place ourselves to be chain agnostic and sort of deploy our protocol to wherever there is liquidity. That's our goal. So yeah, Wilson, if you want to add anything on top of that.
Yeah, I think that segues perfect to what I was going to say, which is with Cardano, we have like a very close connection with them, and it's something that since the beginning, like we've been invested in by C Fund, and we have like that very close tie. our goal is always to be, cross-chain interoperable and things like that. And really the reason why we connected with Cardano was because of their vision for cross-chain interoperability and things like that. And so, when we were taking a look at like a chain that we wanted to support, Cardano was, pretty much everything that fit our personal goals with, how we see the future of blockchain going. And so that's our close connection there. We always intend to, for things like our governance program, we'll have that be delegated to like our Cardano chain. So we're going to, try to do everything to, support and both, improve TVL and things like that for Cardano. But like Dennis said, so, we're remaining cross-chain.
That sounds really good. Is it possible to sort of break down how that works?
Yeah, sure. So initially, we will deploy our protocol on 2 different networks. So it will be on Ethereum and Arbitrum. Ethereum, because of its NFT value, I mean, most of the NFT market and liquidity is there. So we have to be there as well, although it's expensive. And Arbitrum, because it's a growing chain and there is a lot of transactions going on, especially on the DeFi side, that makes sense for us to deploy there. So every time we want to deploy to a certain chain, we will actually just take our smart contracts and deploy it to that relevant chain. The way we want to integrate with Cardano, it's a little different. So Cardano has IOG itself is building an Altos sidechain, which is basically EVM sidechain. It's officially built by Cardano. It's supposed to bridge the gap between the 2 EVM and non-EVM chains. So when that infrastructure is ready, we will be on there. And our goal is to use the bridges to actually move NFTs across and metaverse lands across and allow people to draw in liquidity from other blockchains and actually utilize it that in a way that makes sense. In terms of, so we do have another sidechain that we were planning to deploy our contracts on, which is called 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓. 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓 is a good chain. It does what we want, but unfortunately we can't deploy on there yet because 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓 doesn't have the oracles that we need for price feeds. And of course, as a DeFi protocol, you need to have reliable price feeds to operate without any risks. So once 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓 is able to sort of give us a heads up or go ahead with price feeds, then we'll actually deploy there as well. I think the closest one that's ready to be deployed as an oracle is API-free as opposed to Chainlink. So we support both Chainlink and API-free oracles in our code base. So as long as one of those guys make themselves available, we're basically good to go on any chain. So that's essentially how it works. It's free bridges and multiple deployments and everything's sort of in their own network, but everything is sort of interconnected with the bridges as well that we are partnered up with. So for example, we partner a chain port for Cardano side. We partner multi-chain for both Arbitrum and Cardano side. And there's one more bridge provider that we're talking to right now. They're not yet ready, but they are expecting to be ready in Q3. So with time, with bridges, we will just be fluid across chains, regardless of where your funds are, where your NFTs are.
That sounds really cool. And you just touched on risks there. Would it be possible to sort of just for the audience, just delve into what the risks sort of within DeFi are from a project's point of view?
Yeah. So of course, I'm a software engineer, so I get to see a lot of code bases, a lot of hacks, unfortunately. The main thing is smart contract hacks. Of course, we all know how difficult it can be to make yourself 100% secure, which is why we ourselves have done now 3 audits with Hacken on the same code base, because we just want to be like super sure. I mean, not that you doing 3 audits says that, okay, you're 100% secure, because I mean, auditors are human beings at the end of the day as well, so they can make mistakes. But we're doing the most we can. We have 98% test coverage. We have a lot of lines of test. So we're trying to do most we can, but those are the main concerns. It's solidity level exploitations that are not foreseen. And unfortunately, they cause a lot of issues. I think in terms of the infrastructure itself, such as like Ethereum and the protocol, etc., I don't see massive issues there. I don't see any issues, to be honest, there, but it's mainly just smart contract exploitations and sort of just things that are missed and slip through the cracks. That's what gets most DeFi protocols.
Yeah, so obviously you come across with 𝗲𝗪𝗧 to be quite like a versatile project. So why would we use 𝗲𝗪𝗧? You know, what's the specific benefits to using 𝗲𝗪𝗧?
Wilson, do you want to take this or?
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, I would say with 𝗲𝗪𝗧, you know, in particular, the fact that we're building our system in a non-peer-to-peer way for the NFT collaterals is really what gives us a huge heads up, you know, leg up of anyone who's building currently. So, you know, they're currently the peer-to-peer systems are not very scalable, not very accurate, and such. So, you know, the fact that we are going to be building a system that uses advanced algorithms that will, you know, judge the valuation for that particular NFT, like as an exact, not just based on floor price, but based off of like an entire algorithm for the individual NFT, will give a lot more precise value for the NFT. And in that way, we'll be able to, you know, have the protocol be safer in that, you know, we can judge which level of loan value that we can give. And that's just something that, you know, currently is not available. You know, also having it be systematic, you know, lets us have the ability to scale, and it's not, you know, waiting for one person to find another person's loan. And I think that's really going to, you know, increase the value of NFTs, because, you know, when people realize that they have, you know, opportunity to purchase the NFT, but then still use it for a loan that's like secure and safe, it'll be like even more interesting to purchase the NFT.
So on the basis of that, obviously it's AI generate the price of NFTs. Do we know how that would work for us? So if we were to perhaps take an NFT, let's say it's a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, how would that process work from us to you? How would that work for us?
So the process would be quite simple, actually. So we have we try to keep the UI UX as simple and as abstract as possible, because we understand the complexities that Web3 comes with, especially DeFi protocols come with. So it would be very simple. You connect your wallet, whether it's MetaMask or Wallet Connect option. And if you have the NFT that you want to use as a collateral, the system will recognize it, because we whitelist certain collections initially. So the process is that initially we will have about top 20 whitelisted collections, 𝗕𝗊𝗍 being one of them, and a lot of others. And then over time, that whitelist collection just still grows, but we want to actually delegate that whitelisting process to the community through governance and staking eventually. Initially, that will be processed, and then the system picks up any NFTs that are eligible for collateral. You will highlight it, select it, say, get me a valuation. It's just a click of a button. The algorithm runs in the background. We connect to our partners who also provide us data and input and output, and we'll come back with an aggregated value. If you like the value that you see for the NFT, you could accept it and then immediately start borrowing up to 80% of it from the available liquidity pools that's underlying, which are basically fulfilled by liquidity providers who earn interest plus a PBX bonus for providing liquidity in the protocol itself. So once you take out the loan, it's immediately released to your wallet. And from there on, of course, there's a dynamic interest rate. So you have to keep coming back to the dashboard to make sure the interest rate hasn't jumped too high and it's no more sort of beneficial for you as a loanee. So it might be in your best interest to close the loan as soon as possible. If you don't care, then you could delay it as much as possible.
Sounds great. What would you say is the biggest achievement for the project in, say, the last 12 months?
The biggest achievement, I would say, is the fact that we were able to learn from a few of our competitors' mistakes. So we had a very sort of layout that we had for liquidations. So liquidations are the main sort of bottleneck in these systems, right? Because if you think about the volatility of NFTs and how illiquid they can become, it becomes a quick issue where if you have a lot of loans open against NFTs, then how do you close them in a quick manner so that the system's always in positive cash flow? So I'm not going to name the protocol that we looked at specifically, but there was a very specific protocol that had a lot of 𝗕𝗊𝗍 NFT collaterals. They had a very hard time, of course. So we looked at what went wrong and how we can improve it. So we added a second liquidation mechanism to the whole protocol, which was not initially planned, but we managed to implement this. We managed to code it out, test it, and everything works as intended. So now we actually have two liquidation mechanisms to allow us to liquidate as quickly as possible before prices start crashing, so that the system's always in positive cash flow. I think that shows our ability as a team to sort of learn from others and pivot as quickly as possible. So yeah, I'm quite happy that we were able to do this in a very quick time frame.
Yeah, and I think that also, we kind of looked the Cardano in regards to like, IOG in regards to like how they are building like their protocol itself, their layer one. So, we understand that they do it in a methodical and kind of, research-based approach. And, the fact that we, align with them in so many ways, this is one of those in regards to, making sure that we take a look at what's going on in the space and, learning from the mistakes so that we don't have to learn it on a personal level. I think that's something that we've definitely taken since the very beginning.
Yeah, so you've got a good fundamental basis here on this project. It looks like you guys have done really well, everything so far. So if we look forward to the future now, what's on the cards for Paribus? What is your roadmap?
Mm-hmm. So Wilson, I'll let you go ahead with the excitement part.
Okay. Yeah. Well, really, the biggest thing that's coming up in the very recent, it's going to be within this month, will be the release of the MVP on mainnet. So this is kind of our fundamental layer of traditional assets for borrowing and lending, and this really sets the stage for what's to come. So as soon as we release this was our first opportunity for people in the community to take a look at like the true fundamentals of how Paribus will work, taking a look at our UI, which I think is very beautiful and easy to navigate. And then from there, really, it's full steam ahead. It's the things that are coming out is going to be coming quick, and it's going to be pretty impressive, I think. So things like the NFT collateral loans that'll be coming soon. We'll also have a VE PBX program, which is the start of essentially the start of the DAO. And then from there, we'll have other things. We're doing meta mortgages. We're doing Paribus Pro. So we have quite a few things in the this year and the years to come that are going to be exciting and newsworthy.
Sounds really good, really exciting. And on that note, what are you sort of most excited about when it comes to the future sort of plans that you've got?
Personally, I'm quite excited with the NFT and metaverse side, but that's the first thing that I'm quite excited, because obviously we've been working very hard to get this code base to a stable state. And after that, I would say my biggest excitement is Paribus Pro, because we take the existing code base, which is basically what we have released till that date, and then we wrap it up with KYC AML procedures, and now we can actually appeal to institutions. I'm excited about the institutional side. I mean, a lot of diehard crypto fans will say, well, institutions are against what crypto stands for. But at the end of the day, the reality is that without institutions, there's no growth. And it's just going to be a bunch of crypto heads that are just sort of speaking amongst themselves with no real growth, no real effect or so impact in the real world. So I want to open the floodgates for Paribus to accept institutional funds. And that excites me quite a bit. There's a lot of business development that needs to go down on that side. But I think with the plan that we have put together on that part, we'll have a successful venture on that run as well.
So with everything obviously we've spoke about here, have you got kind of key dates you would like to point out? So the likes of the NFT collateral loans, everything that's kind of going on, is there any key dates you would like to highlight for the community to obviously be aware of?
Yeah, there's high-level dates. We don't set, so this is one of those things that we follow Cardano on. We don't set very specific dates because, I mean, engineering is difficult and things go wrong. We have to adjust things. So it's hard to set dates. So our first MVP, we want to go live within the next 2 weeks. That's our first goal. Then we want to release the VE governance about a month or month and a half after that. Then the NFT modules will follow about a month after that. So that covers the first 3 milestones. And then the rest we'll be looking at Q3 and Q4 of this year to hopefully get it out as soon as possible.
Awesome. So I guess we're getting to sort of the end of the interview now. Is there anything that you would like to cover off that we perhaps haven't touched on yet in the interview that you think would be great for the community to get a bit more of an understanding of the project?
So I would say I always advise this to anyone so that's looking into new projects. Don't sort of just take what we're saying here. Actually go into our website, look at what we're doing, read the white paper. We just updated it, so the white paper is coming out about in a month as well, so that'll be released. I want people to obviously invest in our project, but I want them to invest with actual thought out process. I don't want them to sort of be like, oh, this is going to go 100x and just sort of put all what they have and then everything just turns around, and you know the whole situation with crypto. So I would like everyone to read what we're trying to achieve, and we have a huge Medium blog post as we continuously post educational articles. Wilson leads that, so it's very good blog post. I'm obviously a little biased, but I think it teaches a lot. So I would definitely read the Medium blog post, then the light paper, then come into our Telegram, ask questions, and then if you're happy with all that, only try to invest then. That would be my sort of not advice, but sort of suggestion.
Awesome. And on that note of reading up and learning, I have done a review on the project, a very, very early review. So one that I need to revisit, but you get a good understanding of what the guys here are looking to do. So check that out, and also go dig into the Medium articles and stuff like that. It'd be awesome.
If I do remember correctly, your early review for the project was good though.
Oh, it was immense, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was in the eyesight of Cheeky Crypto. You knew what you were looking at with that project. So yeah, it was really good having this interview. You know, we spoke a lot about what you have done, what you're going to do next. I personally love it. I think it's great. So yeah, I look forward to seeing how well 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗧 gets on, and best of luck to you guys.
Thank you, appreciate it
so much. Really appreciate the time, guys.
So that was Wilson and Dennis from 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗧. Great to have them on the channel. Really appreciate them taking the time out of their busy schedule to spend the time with us to talk through everything 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗧. If you enjoy this sort of content, mash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video.